Hello. Welcome to this last meeting on the 12 links of dependent origination. And I've tried to explain the most important outline and subtopics related to it. So in the meeting now, I promised to talk with you about meditation as the path contrary to the 12 links of dependent origination. And in the meeting 3, I already gave some thoughts on how to liberate from the 12 links, or to how to build a counterforce to the suffering caused by the 12 links of dependent origination. Mainly there are 3, let's say, pillars, 3 main attitudes in our life, and these are explained in the Eightfold Noble Path. And the first 2 is right vision and right intention, right view, right intention. This is the developing of wisdom and insight. Then there's the right speech, right acting, and the right livelihood. And this is the ethical behavior. And the third is right effort, right mindfulness, concentration, awareness, and right meditation. And this is the meditative concentration. So there are 3 topics, 3 pillars in our life that can help us as a counterforce to the suffering of grasping and clinging and formation. And so this is wisdom and insight is one thing we have to act on. It is ethical behavior, in short, not hurting others, not causing negative feelings and emotion with others, and not creating in ourselves negative feelings and negative ways of thinking. So the criteria for ethical behavior is to avoid suffering towards others and towards ourselves. So this is a very practical but observation, and a very practical examination of the consequences of what I'm saying, thinking, and doing. Is it hurting? Is it causing suffering someone else? Then I should abstain from it and turn it into something wholesome. Is it negative or hurtful or painful towards or creating damage or suffering towards myself? Then I should transform it into something that brings peace and harmony. Of course, this is easily said than done, but this is the only way. The other way is to create causes of suffering again and again, as I've explained now several times. So the choice is ours, an effort that helps us to liberate and to feel happy and bliss and joy in our lives and in our relationships. Or the other way is to create suffering. The choice is yours. And so this is ethical behavior, and the other is the meditative concentration, which is the topic for now. So what does meditation mean? Meditation is a Western translation from the Sanskrit bhavana, and bhavana in origin means transformation, getting used to, or getting acquainted or feeling comfortable in another way of thinking, which is what I'm talking about in these meetings. So meditation means, in this context, it is a process of change, of transformation. And there has to, for transformation, there has to be a cause. And the cause I've explained to you in the foregoing meetings. So meditation is one of the methods, is a path to change the causes of suffering. And therefore, there are many kinds of meditation. But this is the most essential meaning of meditation. Yeah? So, what kind of meditations are available? First of all, I think we should take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, which is, and in a teacher, and in a qualified, authentic teacher, in the authentic Dharma, which is the authentic texts, and in the Buddha, that is the authentic, liberated, enlightened state of mind with all its pure qualities. This is the refuge in the Buddha, which is in ourselves and all around us, the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. And the Sangha are our teachers, maybe our spiritual companions, but mostly, or in essence, most important, the Bodhisattvas. So for this, you have to study and find a teacher for the Mahayana path. And second is that we take refuge in ethical behavior, which means that I am very mindful, very concentrated, very aware, very watchful on causes of negative behavior, causes for suffering and pain to others and to oneself. I've just explained. So this is a meditative attitude towards myself. It is the most important mindfulness, the most important meditative attitude in daily life. So this means that I have to be very alert, watchful, mindful on my intentions and motivations. It is the meditative concentration on what am I about to speak, what am I about to say in this situation towards this person, what is my intention inwards myself, is it wholesome or is it unwholesome, is it creating damage and suffering and pain or sadness or loneliness or whatever, or is it supporting someone else in his or her whatever she or he needs. And this is also towards myself, the meditative concentration. Is my ego distorting here my happiness? Is this the motivation, the ego selfishness? Is this my motivation? Or is my motivation based on the Buddha quality like kindness or goodness or sympathetic joy or whatever? And here we have to be aware all the time that there is one way of creating lasting happiness, and that is to create happiness. To create happiness and to take care of the happiness and the harmony and the peacefulness in someone else or for someone else. So this is what I've called before the Mahayana path. Creating happiness and peace and harmony and non-violence is the best way to create, to live in a meditative, happy, blissful state in life. All the fighting is turning our life into misery. So this is the best meditative attitude. My motivations should contribute to the happiness of others. How difficult, but it is the intention, the motivation that counts, not the difficulty. It is the intention and the path that count. And this makes my life meaningful. Fighting and struggling and insulting is not making my life meaningful, is turning my life down into circles of links of dependent origination in a negative way. So my happiness is coming forth from creating happiness. And we suffer because we are not mindful of this. We suffer because we are not mindful of this Buddha nature and its qualities and the Eightfold Path and so on. And the Buddha, the inner Buddha, is the fully accomplished loving kindness and all the good qualities. That is the Buddha inside of us, the fully accomplished loving kindness, compassion, and wisdom, without any effort, without any effort. So this is the path and the result in one. We are on the path, but the result is already inside of us. So this is about meditative attitude or meditative concentration, also mentioned in the six paramis. And the joyful effort. The joyful effort means this is the greatest joy, to contribute to non-violence and to contribute to the peaceful, the peace and harmony in other beings and in relation towards myself. So there are some specific meditations, maybe you know. One is Tonglen. Tonglen is giving and receiving, or in practice it is taking in and sending. Tonglen means the suffering of others I can take in out of compassion for the suffering of others, and I send my best wishes, my wishes of happiness and joy towards this person. May he or she be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And for this, I inhale or I receive the suffering from others, friends and enemies. And some people are very afraid of inhaling or receiving suffering of others, but this is a misunderstanding. This is the ego and the I, or the fear that is resisting. But in the loving kindness, in the compassion, combined with wisdom, then this receiving the suffering of others is sympathetic joy, is empathy, is loving kindness. Right? So don't confuse the distorted ego with the wisdom and love and compassion of your inner Buddha nature. And the second, very traditional, very important, is exchanging oneself with others. Exchanging oneself with others. Suppose I would be in his or her position or shoes or situation. Then I've also enhanced empathy, and then increases my compassion and my love towards this person. And what's the difference between love and compassion? Love is, in essence, the wish that someone else will be happy. And the love towards oneself is the wish to be a happy person, free of suffering. And compassion is, may the other person be free from suffering. And compassion to oneself is, may I be free from suffering. So there is no difference in love and compassion towards myself and the love and compassion towards someone else. So in this way, our joy, our empathy, our loving kindness, our friendliness will increase by wisdom and meditation. And of course, is the calm abiding. The calm abiding, or samatha, the ultimate calm abiding is not a meditation technique. The ultimate calm abiding is to understand the, the purity and the loving kindness and the freedom of attachment and aversion, the pure qualities of the Buddha nature, free from attachment and free from aversion. This is the ultimate quality, and abiding in the pure state of mind that is our inner Buddha nature, this is the ultimate calm abiding or samatha. It is not a meditation, it is this ultimate state of mind with these qualities. So we can train through meditation practice to connect and to understand this inner Buddha nature, and then we can learn how to rest in the silence and the calmness and the indisturbability and the equanimity and the equality and in the love, the pure love and pure compassion of the Buddha nature. So samatha, calm abiding, is abiding in wisdom combined with the emptiness and the stillness of the qualities of the mind, the Buddha mind. There is no samatha without wisdom. There is no wisdom without calm abiding. And these two are called samadhi, the wisdom and the calm abiding. These two are together, inseparable, are called uh, the samadhi, abiding in the wisdom and the tranquility of the Buddha nature combined. So these are the most important, very important meditations on compassion, sympathetic joy, and these sympathetic joy, compassion are a great joy for oneself, but also have a very healing result in ourselves. The most essential healing is compassion and sympathetic joy and the wisdom for the benefit of others. This is the most strong and influencing meditation of how to heal oneself. And this is also the counterforce to the I, the me, the ego. I'm so unhappy. I have still great problems. People are abandoning me. Think of the 8 worldly dharmas I've explained to you. This is all I, me, myself. And the I, me, myself, when we contemplate on that, is never satisfied, is never happy. The I, the me, the ego is always unhappy, always feels shortcomings by oneself or by others. So we have to contemplate and meditate on loving kindness and so on, and compassion. And we have to meditate on calm abiding and wisdom as samadhi. And we have to contemplate and meditate on the non-ego, or let's say the danger of the ego, the I. And specifically, when we meditate and contemplate on the ego, we will find that the ego is just an hallucination, is a misunderstanding, is a fata morgana, is something that is misleading us. What in fact is the ego? The ego are the 4 or the 5 aggregate skandhas. It is the experience. What am I experiencing? What are my positive and negative feelings? What are the mental formations that arise in me? And the consciousness of that. This is what we call ego, but in essence, it is not an entity. It is just a coming together of feeling, emotion, and mental formations, my things, my opportunities, my opinions, and so on, my aversions, my attachment. This is all coming together of the aggregates of feelings, emotions, um, mental formations, and experiences, and being aware, becoming aware of them. But this is the play of the aggregates, but we will not find the ego in it because these aggregates are constantly changing. So the ego is non-existing. What is existing and ultimately is the Buddha nature. So we should contemplate on that. And then we should contemplate and meditate on death and impermanence. I've explained to you the Bardo process in relationships to the karmic formations in this life and previous lives and the life to come. So we should contemplate on death and impermanence. And this will cut through the idea of the 12 links of dependent origination. And we can contemplate on the fleetingness and the hastiness and the volatility of desire and attachment and aversion. Desire, attachment, aversion, they last no longer than a few moments. They come and go. So it is fleetingness, hastiness of desire, volatility. It's a constant change with the speed of light. So attachment and aversion, we make very big items of them, but in essence they do not exist. And in essence, they are very futile, constant change, and also they bring us the trouble and the suffering of the 12 links of dependent origination. So this is also a very important tool to cut through to desire, through formations, to grasping, and to clinging. And we should also meditate and reflect on the precious human life. Our life, if we are happy, maybe 80 years, 90 years, but it is also very, very fragile. It can end every moment. So what do we do with our aversion and attachment? We create a lot of suffering through it, and our life can be over any minute. We've seen that the consequences in the Bardo. So we should meditate and contemplate that it is far better to meditate and act according to love and kindness, compassion, and wisdom, because these bring the results of joy and happiness. And we ruin our life that is so short that we can become 80 or 90, but we also might die in the womb or 10 or 12 years old or whatever. So when we have created negative causes for the next rebirth, then this is a very stupid investment in something that is very precious, like our human life, which lasts very short. And what we are doing, we are ruining it with all kinds of negative, unwholesome karma. We are not very efficient with the precious and the vulnerability, the precious value and the vulnerability of our life. So we have to be economists. Make our life meaningful in the ways I've just explained. Liberation and happiness are in the palms of our hand. And liberate yourself from causes of negative karma. Step by step, change negative into wholesome. And this is the liberation. Try loving kindness, or if that's too difficult, kindness. And smile like the face of the Buddha. The Buddha's face is always expressed in a smile. with a smile. And we don't have to be perfect. We have more lives to come, but the more and the intense we practice and meditate and contemplate, step by step, we can make great results. And even conquering one attitude of jealousy and changing it to sympathetic joy or in benevolence, like from the paramis, or the power of giving in the Eightfold Noble Path. Transforming jealousy into benevolence or into wishing someone to, to be happy with the happiness of someone else is already a big step in liberation. Change one's jealousy into giving of the happiness or benevolence or supporting the happiness of others. This makes such a great difference. But this is a small step into by wisdom and contemplation and action is a great step to liberation and to the spontaneous kindness without any effort of the Buddha nature. So step by step, we can change our shortcomings. So in other words, everything in my life that is an obscuration or affliction or let's say a suffering in whatever way is considered to be material for liberation. Exactly where we experience obscurations, suffering, this is the opportunity for liberation. If you are happy and joyful, then there's no need for liberation because we feel happy. But if we experience suffering in whatever way, then it means there is an obscuration in liberation. So I should grasp the good grasping this obscuration as an opportunity for liberation. So the suffering is an opportunity for liberation of suffering. And then, of course, there are the guided meditations, there are the visualization meditations, there are the deity meditations, but these belong to the tantric path. So for that you need a teacher. But the tantric path, of course, is the direct meditation, the direct visualization, the direct identification with the Buddha and the deities, the Buddha qualities by means of deities in oneself. So the tantric path is a very powerful, direct path to the ultimate result, which is already there, the Buddha nature with the qualities by way of the bodhisattvas. But I don't know if you're a tantric practitioner, but it would be wonderful if you could find a tantric master, because this is a spiritual friend for the rest of your life, and he introduces you to the divine qualities of the Buddha nature, like loving kindness, Avalokitesvara, primordial wisdom like Manjushri, loving kindness by Maitreya, the 21 Taras, the medicine Buddha, you name it. There are so many. You can choose your own deities and your own kingdoms. So this is the tantric path, which is the best path if you are able to it. So, okay. So all these meditations I've tried briefly to outline to you. They are counterforce to ignorance. They are counterforce to formation. They are counterforce to, let's say, what is it? The state of consciousness. They are counterforce to name and form in the womb. They are counterforce to the impure six senses. They are counterforce to the contact, interact of the world outside of us. There's a counterforce to negative feelings. that we can experience in positive, negative, and neutral. There are counterforces to craving, towards sense objects, the world outside of us. There are counterforces to clinging, that is actively seeking to obtain objects of craving or rejecting. There are counterforces to becoming. This is the becoming the karmic results of engaging in virtuous and non-virtuous actions. And they are a counterforce to aging and death, or annexed or rebirth with the same propensities of suffering of samsara. Then we will reborn then the bardo will be a peaceful bardo. We can leave the bardo if we want for liberation, or we can find a new life with better mental attitudes and mental emotional capabilities. Or even we can enter, as I explained last week, the womb for the benefit of others. So these, what I've just explained, like in liberation and meditation, in this way, is the counterforce for all the 12 links of dependent origination for the better. So thank you for listening. I hope that you will take up your task for a meaningful life, a happy life, joyful life in relationship to the world that is so full of suffering and that needs so much help in wisdom and love and compassion and non-violence. The only one that can contribute to this and to myself and to others in this world, that is me, myself. The outside world is not capable of that because it's too complicated, too dependent. So the only one that can create a better world outside ourselves and into relationship to others is me, as explained by Buddha in this teaching on the 12 links of dependent origination. So thank you again. Wish you a wonderful life in many ways in relationship to others. All the best.